Good afternoon, everybody. No, the construction workers didn't fall through the ceiling, and how exciting would that have been, though? Welcome, everybody. It's good to have you all here. We are going to continue on with the Warlord today, more or less left off where we finished yesterday, except that I did as I said I was going to do and painted all the mechanical areas back into a matte black. So that's given me a better idea of what the armor looks like, and I'm still pretty happy with it. Once it's had a bit of weathering and stuff, I think it's gonna chill a little bit. The Titan is feeling rather blue today. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is starting the initial dry brush of metallics onto the black areas. Pardon me. And because this machine is meant to be so stupidly big and whatnot, I've decided not to go, or not to start with a metallic such as gunmetal, because I actually feel that it's a bit too bright. So I'm starting something a little lower, which is this, which is war color, and this is war color metallic black. So it's a very dark color. I already have the head done in it because I was testing out the colors to see what it looked like, and it is quite a dull black. It has a nice sort of shimmer to it in the highlights, but it looks pretty decent. So that's what we're going to be going with. Am I rather quiet? Is that a bit better? You can let me know if that's a bit better, guys. I'm just naturally a quiet person. The problem is that I can hear myself through the headset, so I tend to speak lower because I can hear myself. Right. So I've a brand new dry brush today because I want to really make sure I stay neat with all this stuff. So just gonna prep it and get stuck in really and see how this turns out. I need to learn to use the dry brush properly and not scoot it all over the place and hammer it. So let's start with an arm, shall we? And do I have enough room? I do have enough room. So let's see if that's enough paint. Alright, let's give this a blast and see what happens. Like I said, because the machine is meant to be so big in reality, I didn't want it to have an incredibly shiny metallic surface. Hence the darker one. And it'll probably get a dark wash anyway. But I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't starting off on too high, a little bit too high a metallic. It drops. No, I don't intend on dropping it today. Intentions never match reality, I don't think. So I mean, this looks okay. I don't want the metallic parts to be like the center of attention. I want it all to be about the armor. So you can see what that's doing, which is quite nice. Oh, if you're late, Lena, I'm already starting late, unfortunately. Justin's getting back into World of Warcraft, Lena, and he hadn't seen the Warbringer videos. He hadn't seen the Sylvanas or the Jaina one, so I was like showing him that Sylvanas did nothing wrong. Yeah, the only annoying thing is that while we had the Jaina video on, he had Facebook open, so he was actually looking at that in his second monitor and missing half of what was going on, and I felt like slapping him. I was like, dude, pay attention. It would be covered in pigeon droppings. You're absolutely right. Oh, I wanted to, Lena. I really wanted to. I don't think that would have done our working relationship much help there. I'm actually really looking forward to getting this day past me so I can go and actually start playing a bit of Battle for Azeroth. Start my leveling up again. Just put a cool. Yeah, maybe I should do that, Amanda. Or get him to shape another berry like he did for his Fallout cosplay. Lena, I did send you a battle tag friend request. I don't know if you've been on lately to actually see if it came through or not. I think I typed it in right. Hey Tony, you're not late. You're not as late as, well, I would have been on time today, but you know, clearly I'm not. Do you know, I'd love it if we had a Discord. That might be something that maybe Lance could put together at some point. I was filling my flask for later. This is strange having to hold this up to the camera this time instead of just working on the table surface, but because the model is just a little big, I have to hold it up to the model to show you what I'm doing. Yeah, that'll do, Lena, that's fine. We could totally get some dungeons in or something, depending on what level restrictions there are for the new content. Yeah, we should totally drag Jerry along. Get some voice chat going too. Roland, I haven't even seen the Old Soldier one yet. I've been too busy trying to avoid the Zappy Boy for War Chief stuff that's been going on in the community. Oh, I'm sure I will. Okay, so I will definitely watch it after work today. Before Laura comes round and very kindly updates my World of Warcraft files, because I can't download them at home because my internet is so slow. It's my internet speed is somewhere akin to a dead hamster in a wheel that's still turning, but only by the force of gravity or the force of the wind. That's, you know, my internet's that slow. It's rather pathetic, actually. Saurfang would make an excellent war chief. He spared Malfurion, so I mean that's a lot of honor in there. I do realize there's a few people in here that aren't gonna understand what we're all talking about, but you know. I'm on dial-up speeds, yet I'm on a broadband connection. Apparently the fastest I could get is 2 meg, but I have never seen it creep more than 500 kilobytes at best. That was on a really good day. So yeah, I have to rely on good old Lozzie to come over and give me the files to update games. At least it doesn't disconnect as much as dial-up used to. Or make that horrendous sound that I had to stick a pillow over my computer back in the day if I was trying to log on late at night. Not heard anything on Gorka Morka. I'm noticing a lot of these 40k YouTubers and stuff really are jumping on the least this like small speculations, and in some cases they're wrong, but you know in some cases they're like partly right. So I know I'm spending a lot of time on this arm. I think that Venom, I think that's it's a whole new edition. The Lord of the Rings stuff, it's a whole new box set. So I assume they've redone the rules and everything for it, which is great. Never been a Lord of the Rings player myself. So that is the black metal, or the metallic black put on, and I kind of like that. It's a bit like just putting a gunmetal on, but it just feels a little nicer in some regard, and I'm not sure how I can pin it down. It's not just as shiny when you see it on flatter surfaces. Oh hey Lena, if you're still listening, when Fallout 76 comes out, are we going to start a group for that? That'll be kind of cool. We get Jerry on that too. Because I plan on being like a guy in power armor for hire in Fallout 76. It's like have power armor will travel. Or will kill. Yeah, I heard. Have you, Sundancer? Did you see and Lena and anyone else interested in Fallout 76? Did you see the QuakeCon panel for Fallout? It's really interesting how they're going to work PvP and how they're going to punish people that just kill you for no reason. Yes, Manda. Let's start. Let's get a group going, or a couple of groups going, and we can like rule our server. So the basics on the PvP system, some of it was covered at E3, but some of it wasn't, and at QuakeCon they were elaborating on it a bit more. That when you want to engage someone in PvP, your first attack won't do a lot of damage. It'll be like a very tiny amount of the your potential damage. If that person then essentially accepts the challenge you've given them or offered them by shooting them, they can engage, and then your damages will all go up to what they should be. But if a player does this and the other player's like, no, I don't want to fight this, and just ignores the challenge, doesn't attack back or anything, but still gets killed, then the person that kills them, what they said in game, becomes a wanted murderer. So a red star appears on the map showing the location of this person, and they can no longer see anybody else on the map. So you can hunt them down and kill them, and you get a bounty for it. So the bounty, because this person was being silly and killed a player that didn't want to play, the bounty that other players get off this wanted murder is their own caps, which is really cool. I think that's a good incentive to not run around killing people that don't want to fight you. Yeah, the Neo is fine. Most airbrushes, particularly Iwatas, so long as you keep them clean and don't do anything silly with the needle like I have tended to do in the past, the airbrushes are all fine. So no need to worry there. Okay, having to reach over my camera now to do some of this, which is a bit weird. Instructions unclear. Needle in shape of star. Help. Trust me, this isn't, hopefully isn't going to be 2 hours of me doing this. I seriously doubt it. That should be the two arms looking fairly decent. They look fairly similar there. Yeah, this one has a bit more silver on it. That's alright. Yeah. Watch John's hand move. Epic adventures. Okay. I need to get onto the torso. I have to remove the temptation from my head to use a bigger dry brush because I know I'd only start hitting armor panels. They're all messy. Lena just likes watching my hand move. She keeps telling me I've got nice strong wrists. For, you know, painting reasons, of course. Right, let's just start up here and work our way down, I guess. Hey, you said the strong wrist thing, Lena, not me. Good to see you, Steve. And Robert, thank you for coming on board. No, you won't deny that. You could never deny me, could you? Quite hard to show you what I'm doing right now, but a lot of practice with brushes. Just tell your boss you're being picked on by me. And it'll be fine. He'll be like, I totally understand. Stroking the brush. Also known as brush stroking. Oh, way too much. Be fine. Whatever I overbrush or dry brush too heavily, I'll just make gold. I'll just paint gold. I'll be fine. God, this conversation became fairly inappropriate pretty quick. I know, Sundancer. No, honestly, Amanda. I really didn't expect any less. Oh, for the bootcamp, Steve? Hi, because you're coming over, aren't you? Well, Steve, I can tell you this, that I will have at least 2 Africa Corps reenactors here for the bootcamp, so you could just, you know, take photos of them. Or you're gonna buy paints and then bring them with you. I get you. Well, I'll tell you what, Tony. I'm in the same boat as you. I won't have that weekend off either. Even if it is Laura's, was it 27th? Something like that on the Sunday. Amanda, I'm sure if you turned up to the boot camp, you would have been the sole pink Dacker. Yeah, the boot camp sold out within an hour. Unfortunately, Robert. Oh, I really can't. Oh no, no, Tony, no. We're not buying our bootcamp ticket. Should only put everyone to shame and have it all built and painted by the end of the Saturday anyway. Oh, I don't like dry brushing around all these vents and stuff. By comparison, the legs are going to feel. No, just the one Titan. Because we just got the simple rule set and the single Titan box for the review. BOW is in England. We're actually in the worst spot for Brexit. We're in Northern Ireland. Apparently. We're going to have a hard border and all sorts of rubbish. And it's like, yeah, I imagine a lot of this is actually just a load of scaremongering just to try and get a Brexit deal and just pressurize a lot of the politicians. At the minute, it feels like scaremongering because it's just silly. Well, there was a time when the UK wasn't part of a greater European thingamabob, and they did alright then, but then of course there was wars and stuff, so yeah. There's too much rubbish being kicked around the news about it lately. I don't particularly know what to believe because I don't trust any of it at the minute. I do think though if they put in this so-called hard border in Ireland, I think it's going to be the most stupid decision ever made by Northern Irish politicians. Not that they're working anyway. But yeah, it would be a very stupid thing to accept. It would chuck us right back into the 60s as far as I'm concerned. Do you actually? Oh, you have a proper warhound? I would love any sort of proper Titan for my own collection and stuff. Yeah, but Robert, have you not noticed that that hasn't stopped them from, you know, still running their mouths on stuff that, you know, had they just agreed to just work instead of being stupid? Because that's what they're being. They're being stupid. I feel like I should start my own political party now. The I'm not with stupid. The I'm not with stupid party would be great. Euro Truck Simulator, essentially the board game for Euro Truck Simulator. No, I'll just become a politician myself, Sundancer. Because all you need to do is stand up somewhere and shout, these guys are stupid, I'm better than them, and then when you get into government, you stand there and you go, the other guys are stupid, we know what we're doing. And politicians get paid to do that. It's awesome. It's the easiest job in the world. Vote for me, and every school gets like its own hobby space, and they get taught stuff that's actually useful instead of the bloody potato famine. Yes, they still teach that in schools for some reason. But oh, it's a really important piece of Irish history. Yeah, so was the period from 60s to 90s. But I don't hear you talking about that, do you? Ooh, it's too contentious. Yes, every school should have painting, should have a lot more invested in arts and stuff that provokes thought. I think, like, I don't know. I think people should just be more creative. I think people should be allowed to think. Sorry, I usually steer away from politics. I don't know what riled me up so much today. Unfortunately, Rob, that was fueled by things that the governments didn't like. Otherwise, great. There's so much dry brushing in this bloody thing. I just wanted to stop. If this was the 28mm one, I wouldn't be using a brush like this. I'd be using a friggin' 1-inch brush. And I'd still be done in like an hour. But no. The smaller they are, the longer it takes, for goodness sake. No, Sundancer. No. You're telling me that that this brush isn't big enough? And you can't. No. Oh, this is getting weird. It's usually puns. I don't know what happened that we've turned into this today. It's gone from puns to innuendo. Innuendo bingo today. Is this what it's like to have like an early week stream? Matilda Mark IIs for the desert. I would go with what. Do you want to do the dazzle, or do you want to just do a straight sort of sandy color? Because either is acceptable. Or that strange color they did the M3 Grants, that brown splotch with black and white outline. It would work. It would look really cool on a 28mm model. It didn't look so good on Flames of War though. Is it cold in Northern Ireland? Up this way it's not cold, it's still really warm, it's like 19. Armagh is like there's only certain things I can say about Armagh because A, I've never been there, and B, I never want to be. Not for any reason in particular, it just means I'd have to get in my car and go somewhere. And I don't like going places. You want a quick color scheme, Rob? I would just go with the plain sand. But if you want to do some chipping or stuff on it, what you could do is chip with like the British Army green first to make it look like the sand paint is peeling away and then revealing the green underneath it, and then below that you could do like the dark brown and the silver. That's what I've been doing with I have a test mini for my Africa core, and that's what I've been doing. I've been chipping the sand down to a Panzer Grey, and then from a Panzer Grey down to a dark brown through to a bare metal. Manda, don't even start on that. That's a dangerous slippery slope you're on. Oh no, I'm going to start annoying people from Armagh today. Oh no. I'm just saying I have no need to be there. Hey, look at it this way, Steve. Right? If Beast of War wasn't in Coleraine, would you ever? To be fair, I've got family in Eglinton, and I never go there. That's mostly out of choice, though. Exactly, you travel through Coleraine. Be like, I'm going to the Giant's Causeway today. Oh look, there's Coleraine. Bye. That's it. Just realised that I'm just not letting you guys see what I'm doing. This is more of a chat day, really. Yeah, essentially, unless you're on. let's start with the silly city name, Derry, Londonderry, Stroke City, the Walled City, the Maiden City, whatever you want to call it. If you're on that train line that goes from there to Belfast, Colerane's easy to get to, but the rest of the time it's like stupid little country roads and other things that we call motorways, but they're really not. I don't hate Coleraine, I just think it's a bit meh. Oh god, is it called City of Culture as well? Did it actually win that? It did win that award, didn't it? It did become like Derry City of Culture. No. It's only City of Culture because it's got a lot of different cultures in it that like to beat each other up on weekends. Did I say that out loud? Oh, I am not making friends with anyone from Northern Ireland this day. I'm having a right little ranty day. I'm surprised I wasn't doing it yesterday because I'd only had like 3 hours sleep. I tend to call it Derry or Stroke City because Stroke City's funny. And it annoys a lot of people that are like really devoted fans of the city. And you're like, mm-hmm. Yeah, do you not know that one, Steve? Call it Stroke City because it's Derry Stroke Londonderry. So to make it completely PC, they just remove both names and just leave the stroke. It's the apolitical name for the city. Ah, Northern Ireland's a barrel of laughs. Mostly at ourselves. Because everyone else is too scared to offend us. Now, Rob. I thought we were past this. Stoke, yeah. Hello, Crispin. Good to see you. I'm starting to get worried about what you guys, actually want from these live streams. Particularly you, Sundancer. It's like, are you here for the miniature painting, or are you here for, like, illicit other things? Are you here for fun? Ah. I can tell you this much though, guys. I am definitely not too sexy for my shirt. It will be staying firmly on my torso. Yes, Robert, it is. Unfortunately, I built this thing for our unboxing video. So you could have entirely left all the armor panels off and just painted the whole thing and then stuck them on. But there you go. I don't do anything without a measure of self-torture in these things. And I was actually thinking, we're probably going to paint this after we unbox it. But no, do you know what? I'm just going to glue everything on, apart from the arms and the head, which I super glued on and was able to snap off. I'm playing with my health. That's the long and short of it. Plus, I looked cooler in the mask when Lance came in and asked for a picture. It looked cooler. I usually only wear the dust mask when I'm doing like a large batch painting, like the the beta weekend for Fabled Realms. The amount of airbrushing that was required for that, I practically wore the mask 7 hours a day, running around doing my Bane impressions to people. But you can talk with the mask. I could put the mask on and like the mic would be here, so you'd be like getting beard noise and really weird audio. So it probably wouldn't be that great. I say beard noise, I really mean stubble. Aha! You guys are so mean! Stop being mean to me. It's almost like I'm on the internet or something. Oh wait. Right. I do see how much of a pain this is to actually try and show off on camera, so let's see if we can change that a little bit. And no. Pretty much not. It's your job to be mean, son. Really? You concern me. A lot of you people concern me. Between Manda's paint everything pink, Lena having to constantly explain why she's laughing at stuff on the internet to her co-workers, and then to you, son. You are the you are the very special level of viewer, the one that takes time out of your day to come in here and jibe, I guess. I'm trying to be as friendly as possible with what I'm saying. This is only confirming to me, Lena, that, you know, the attitude you described your boyfriend had was was very right. In IT, when you get a promotion, does the little Mario thing, the little Mario sound play, or is it the Final Fantasy one? The coffee mugs get bigger. Or, to be honest, I would have said more KGB. KGB sounds cooler, and less like how I imagine those people to be, where they're dressed as von Schmalhausen and Herr Flick. Stasi. Oh, jeez. Is it really, Steve? Can you send a photo of that over? I want to see a drink of KGB. Is it just like their equivalent of WKD? Yeah, I probably will do the basing on this as well. Can't guarantee it'll be this week though. I might do it as a, you know, as the regular live stream slots happen next week perhaps. Or if we just continue with it, I don't know how long this could take in 2-hour slots. Moscow Mule. Yeah, Lena, I'm not sure that's the best call on Manda there. I mean, Manda, I think the world of you. And actually you're agreeing with me, so yeah. See it, yeah. I'll probably do something. I'm not sure chipping would translate so well onto something that's what, roughly 8 mil? Yeah, about 8 mil. Or is it 6? I don't know. Aha! Very funny, Sundancer. So funny! You really, really fine chipping. I'll probably do some rust on it. I'll probably do some like grease and oil. Get some pigment powders out, do a bit of dust all over it. Obviously making it heavier towards the feet. No worries, Lena. We'll see you later. This is getting quite tiresome now. There's so much rushing. Alright. We're nearly there. Only the feet left. Technically, Steve, wasn't that that troll bust you did was a fairly clean model, right? Yeah, do miniature painting for working and playing in your spare time. Or do what I do. Don't paint anything when you get home. Delve into PC gaming and just stay there. I don't do that as much. I have been going through a painting binge at home. Feet. Which one? I can't even remember what I just said. Oh, the blue skinned bust. At home I still play Dawn of War. I played Dawn of War Soulstorm with the Ultimate Apocalypse mod on it, so you can get Titans and all the crazy stuff in it. And they added Tyranids and Demon Hunters and all sorts into it. Really cool. Feet. I didn't drop it, I set it down. Dawn of War is great. Not was, is still a great game to play. Especially with the Ultimate Apocalypse mod onto Soulstorm. Looks amazing. It's very difficult to play though, because the AI is ramped up way too much. And even an easy AI will give you a hell of a run for your time. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother investing in Dawn of War 3 at all. They've already stopped supporting it online for patches and stuff, I think, so I couldn't care less. I didn't like the look of it. Didn't like the look of the gameplay and stuff that I seen. I wasn't sold on it even before it released, and all the bad reviews started coming out about it. Just wasn't that fussed. I essentially just wanted Dawn of War 2 again, but with Dawn of War 1 base building and that sort of thing. That's all I wanted. I wanted Dawn of War 2 with really big games. I haven't looked into Martyr. I'm very tempted eventually to get Deathwing. You know, the Space Hulk Deathwing one. I think that looks really cool. It looks like a lot of fun just to run around shooting stuff. Ugh. Yeah, absolutely, Manda. An original Dawn of War with new graphics. You know, with 1080p support and stuff like that. At least 1080p. Have I done the feats? I've missed a couple of bits, but that's fine. Well, it does, yes, son. But I mean, like upping the texture quality and stuff. The model quality is still okay, but the texture qualities at your higher res monitors are where it really starts to show its age. And unfortunately, with the Ultimate Apocalypse mod I have on, I get huge frame drops because the population cap minimum is 200. You know, and then you can set it to be higher. You can set it to be like 500-600. And because the game, I don't think the game was optimized for running off more than one core on a PC. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I think if it was able to utilize more than one core, it would probably still run absolutely amazing. You know, 120 plus FPS and so on. Be good. I do understand that I'm not just. I just don't know my PC specs as well as I maybe ought to with the PC I have at home. I invested a lot of money in that and have not regretted it at all. Right. Unfortunately, Lena has left, so I'm going to be saying this to everyone else that isn't going to laugh as hard as Lena would. So I'm going to go for 5 minutes. 5 minutes to rest my hand. And then when I come back, we're going to check out. We're going to start laying out some of the gold onto the armor panels and stuff. So 5 minutes. I'm just making a cup of tea this time. I was away far too long yesterday, so big no-no. So I shall be back in 5. I'm not that late. Not that late. Stop it. Okay. So let's take a vote. Do you want me to start on the gold lining on the, or start the gold pieces on the armor panels, or do you want me to detail up the metals? Yeah, it was ish. It was 5 minutes ish. Let me know what you'd like to see actually, because I can do either. I can either detail up the metal parts, or we can start putting the gold on. Either or, I don't mind. Gold, 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 gold. Do the gold. Yeah. Okay, so gold it is then. We'll start with the head then. Someone struggle with metallics. Haha! Nobody struggles when they're using Vallejo. So I'm using Vallejo Game Color Glorious Gold. I love this stuff. I'm not doing NMM. No. If I was doing non-metallic, I'd be here for like another week. Potentially 2. And I'm just not doing that. Dark Star or bust. I like this gold. This one's the easiest of the Vallejos to apply. Oh, stop being... God, you're all such like paint snobs. Oh, he still uses Vallejo. Of course I use Vallejo. It's cheap and I know what I'm getting, and it's a dropper bottle. Alright. Paint snobs, a lot of you. Terrible. Don't drop it's called a dropper bottle. Ah, you're so funny. Yeah, there probably is better paints, but at the same time, I don't have any. This is great. I'm painting gold onto yellow so you can't see what I'm doing. All you see is like a piece of yellow becoming slightly more shiny. And yeah, if it works, it works. I totally agree, Steve. The model color, the Vallejo model color, is excellent. The model color, which is called just brass, is great. I think it's one of the finest golds I've used. Need to dampen my brush a bit. I've thinned it a little bit by putting some water on the brush and then dragging some out from the drop I put down onto the palette. because it's, as it currently stands, at least my bottle anyway, is kind of thick. I really should have used a helping hand here to just to hold this thing. Thank you for the new follow. If you're watching, welcome aboard. Is the music not playing on the stream? Because I hear it, it's playing here at the minute. Or do you want, like, music? I'll maybe have to look up like a playlist of royalty-free stuff, because there's some great royalty-free music on YouTube. I really don't think my dulcet tones are enough. Silent-ish. We're back to the land of Ish today, I see. Alright, I'm gonna set this down because I'm gonna mess it up as I get closer to the areas where I'm trying to hold the mini, so I'm gonna move on and do another piece. We'll do something big. I think we'll do one of the shoulders. Yeah, that'll work, because that can sit there in focus and I can just work my way around it. At least on the blue we'll be able to see the contrast between it and the gold. Now, have I painted myself into a corner here? Can I slide this across? Pardon me. No, it doesn't look like Workshop sent any of the Grandmaster editions out. I would imagine they weren't going to anyway, because it's a very expensive box set, and giving that out for free when they have just the rule set and then chucking a miniature at them as well was probably the better deal for reviewer anyway, because reviewer gets the full rule set and an example of what the miniatures are like. It's an interesting name for a new follower, thank you. Be careful, my hand's a little shaky today. Another new follower, thank you. I'd say chances are we need to go over some of this gold again in a second. No, I certainly don't want to sneeze. I'll have to give some of this a second coat, I would imagine. I've not heard anything about another Hobby Night Live soon. It's mainly because we're going to be ramping up for the boot camp and stuff very soon as well. So we need to start looking at table layouts and then what we need for them. You know, terrain wise and stuff. Okay, cousins, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again, I hope. I'm here all week. I leave them because I'm not patient enough nor steady-handed enough to do the vertical parts on the raised areas. I know it's not the best way to do it. I know I really should be doing those vertical sides and stuff, but it would probably triple the painting time for me. And probably kill what little patience I have left. Generally though, a wash kind of just adds the shadow to it anyway. I'm not too concerned about it. Geez, I wouldn't even do it for Golden Demon. I would just, to be honest, I just wouldn't enter Golden Demon. I did once and I'll never do it again. I'm nowhere near that quality. Sorry, I'm nowhere near that devoted. Yeah, even yeah, the young bloods are still fantastic. There's another one, Steve. I wouldn't enter. I just don't have the skill, the time, or the patience to learn what I need to learn to take part in something like that, and apply it to a miniature. I just couldn't do it. Now, if it was a scale modeling competition, yes, I would definitely enter some of my stuff into a scale modeling competition, but not wargaming. I have to reach over the miniature again to paint. Another interesting name for a new follower. Thank you. It's nice seeing some of this gold now on against the blue. It's actually starting to look a bit more like the color scheme that we're trying to do. It's still very hard to show some of this being done though. It's the community button award for painting and stuff. I think we do them every week. Oh, some of this is so fidgety. I wish I hadn't built this the way I did. There are several decisions I wish I hadn't made. Still looks tidy enough. I'm not going to push my luck too much on some of the detail. It really has brought out the blue though. See, I have patience as well, Steve, but it's only it's only with scale models. I have zero patience for painting a really high quality wargaming miniature. And I don't know why that is. I feel like that it's a whole other animal going from a wargaming miniature to a scale model. And it's maybe just part of my mentality. That a scale model demands my patience and attention. Do you know that's probably part of it, Bob, actually to some degree. You know you're going to be handling this sort of stuff a lot more than you are a scale model. And yeah, Sundancer agreed as well. Yeah, see, after BRS came out, I bought myself a 148th Mosquito, and I started it, but haven't finished building it yet. So I mean that's another thing I want to do eventually. 124th scale though, boy, you're in the big leagues with one of those. Are you gonna buy a load of extra bits for it? Like what is it a Airfix at 124th? They still do 124th. Yeah. And Steve, I used to have a 148 Hurricane. I absolutely adore that. I watched Battle of Britain not because of the Spitfires. I watched it for the Hurricanes, especially the Polish squadron. They're the best in that. What I would sometimes do, Manda, is if you have anything like airbrush flow improver, like a drying retardant agent, mix a little bit of that into it, and as it dries slower, it may not frost. I don't know. I struggle with that too. So I either put a little bit of flow improver into it. I certainly wouldn't use water. I think that kind of promotes the whole frosting thing with humidity. Well then, Mando, apply it in like more than one incredibly thin coat. Make it mostly flow improver with a bit of the varnish in it. Like maybe a 3-to-1 mix or something like that. Maybe make it thinner than that. And then work your way up maybe over 2, potentially 3 passes with it. Again, it depends how much you want how much time you want to do just on the varnish on it. Biggest aircraft kit I still have is a 132nd P-51, which I never finished building either, which is a real shame. To be fair though, it was an Airfix kit, but it was one that clearly needed retooled. Because a lot of the parts just weren't fitting, and it was a bit of a struggle, so I sort of stopped building it because of that. Potentially, Mandy, yeah, maybe on a lower pressure. I'm not overly up on how much pressure you should be putting stuff through an airbrush at. I know that mine's sitting at about 15 psi, which people tell me is still too high, but I don't care. I'm a rebel like that. Have you tried, Manda, have you tried putting the matte varnish through without any thinning agent in it? What brand of varnish is it that you're using? It sounds like Vallejo to me. Called it. um, yeah, that's the stuff that's white in the bottle, isn't it? I have a bottle of that, and I absolutely hated using it through an airbrush. What I'd suggest for that stuff is, again, mix it with a lot of flow improver. Put it into a little pot, stir it around for a good long time, and honestly, just get a big brush and just dab it on and let it dry. That stuff really doesn't like airbrushes for some reason, and it clogs them up. Like you've found out, it clogs them pretty badly. See, anti-shine is good because you can put it straight through an airbrush neat, which is what I do a lot in here. It makes the model tacky for about half an hour, but after that it's perfect. Yeah, Steve, it's overall just not as good as some of the other varnishes out there, especially from Vallejo. Some of their stuff's great, some of their varnishes are fantastic, but that one in particular, that big bottle of white rubbish, just doesn't play ball with a lot of things. Application methods are just go out the window when you're working with it. See, Amanda, I think many of us understand your pain in there. You're working with one of Vallejo's subpar sort of products, unfortunately. I've never tried those ones, Steve. Flames, the old Astorum scheme. No, I am not a fan of that because then I'd have to paint flames. I'm not one for painting flames. I've never really done it, so I couldn't tell you. What I would say is check out LP Painting on Facebook. He has a gorgeous Legio Furians force, all the proper big Forge World stuff, and he's done a beautiful Furian scheme with all the flames. He might be able to, if you send him a message, he might be able to guide you on how he did it. He's a good guy too, from LP Managers. One of my best friends. See you later, Sundancer. You cheeky bugger. It's possibly humidity, Manda, or it could just be it's a bad varnish. It's a particularly bad product. Now, it's a shame you can't buy anti-shine, Army Painter's anti-shine in the same size bottles that some of that Vallejo stuff comes in. Do you know, like bottles that size? Because that's the size of bottles. That's the size of bottle I had my Vallejo stuff in. 120 milliliter. That's the way to go. Need anti-shine sold in bottles that size. Anti-shine and strong tone. Sold in big bottles. I hope Bo's listening. Because I would totally buy that. Well, that pretty much took ages. But that looks alright. I like the contrast there. What I'm going to do for this cogwheel in the middle is actually paint it in a gunmetal. Just to give that nice contrast between the two parts of the insignia. So I'm going to wrap it up for today, fellas. Ladies and gents, my apologies. And I will continue this off camera again like I did with the black undercoat. And because there's only so much of this you guys really need to see. Like, there's a shoulder, and I've done part of the head as well, and it's all looking really good. So for today, thank you so much for watching. The conversation has been wonderful. I will be back Thursday. Yeah, because this is Tuesday. I'll be back on Thursday, but tomorrow we have the hobby hangout with myself, Lance, and Ben, and we'll be looking at your community projects on pieceofwar.com. So check us out. That'll be probably at midday UK time, so I'll be 12 o'clock. And until Thursday, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, have a great day, and I will see you all, well, I'll see you all tomorrow on Hobby Hangout.